Hello, it's Simon here. Today I want to talk about rules and guidelines for strength training, including both body weight and equipment routines. And the first set of rules I want to talk about is for safety. And in particular, the first one does relate to more equipment training. If you are using dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells, bars, free weights, I strongly recommend wearing footwear as opposed to bare feet. It's a very good habit to be in when you're training, to wear something on your feet. Even the smallest weight, when dropped on your toes, will hurt. It's not advisable to take any form of painkiller before training or working out, or practicing yoga either. Exercise requires an awareness of sensation within the muscles. A painkiller is designed to numb or mask the very sensations you need to feel. If something requires a painkiller, it's probably a signal from the body that you shouldn't really be exercising at this time and to let it heal and recover first. There are instances where somebody is experiencing chronic pain. If that is the case, please do get in touch and we can talk about that. But in general, it's best not to take painkillers before working out. Exercise technique and always using the best possible exercise form in lifting is more important than how much weight you can lift or how many repetitions or how long you can hold something for as well. Always, as much weight or as many repetitions or as long a hold as you can, but with good form. For those of you incorporating a barbell bench press into your routine, and some of you are, please ensure there is someone else present, especially when using weights close to your maximum. A press using dumbbells is less problematic, and there are virtually no other exercises that pose the same vulnerability or safety issues, but even the most experienced lifters will always have a spotter or partner present when barbell bench pressing. Try to stick to the recommended program and resist adding additional exercises, either body weight or weight training exercises. One of the most common errors when starting a strength program is overtraining, and there really is such a term. It's where too much is done and the body is left without the capacity to recover or resist injury, and in fact no progress is being made in that case. The reverse can sometimes be true as well, and overtraining often results in a step backwards. It really is an example of that old adage, less is more. Warming up. Always warm up by doing the same activity or movement or exercise at a lower intensity or weight before progressively increasing resistance. I also think it's a good idea when you are strength training to literally warm up the body with a few minutes of low intensity movement to get the body ready for the workout. And examples are running on the spot, step ups like you see in the picture there. When it's an option, when you're using a barbell for an exercise, use just the empty bar for the first set. Even a bar is 10, sometimes 20 kilograms without any plates on it. And it gives the body a chance to go through the range of motion for the joints and the muscles. Train the whole body. For both aesthetic and also safety reasons, always follow a workout program that trains each and every one of the major muscle groups in the body. If you emphasize one area and neglect another, it leaves the body open to imbalance and injury. Different muscles and muscle groups require different training volume. For instance, the leg muscles are large and consist of a large group of component muscles and therefore require more training volume than, say, the biceps. And the bicep is, in fact, the smallest skeletal muscle we train. But when you think about that and break it down, we're still training each of the individual leg muscle group and the bicep with the same amount of work, ultimately. I hope that made sense. Sets, repetitions, and which weights to use. This is a very common topic and common question. Your program will include a mixture of both compound exercises, which train a group of muscles, and isolation exercises, which train a single muscle. Compound movements will usually involve a larger number of sets, whereas an isolation exercise will require a smaller number. We've just seen an example of that with the leg and the bicep. The repetition range we will be using is designed to stimulate both strength increase and muscle growth, and the upper end of the range is a target number of 12 repetitions. After warming up with a very light weight, you should progressively add increments of weight and complete up to 12 repetitions each time or each set. until the final set involving the heaviest weight for you. In this final set, you should perform as many repetitions as you can with good form. If the number you reach is less than 12, that's okay. The following workout, you stay on that weight. You do the same thing until you reach 12 on the final set. Now, once you reach 12 repetitions on your last set, you can keep going. There's no need to stop on that workout. Do as many repetitions as you can within reason, up to say 15 or 20 if you've got the weights just right. But next time, as in the next workout or the next time you do that set of exercises, you're ready to increase the weight, or should I say that exercise. Not only in the final set, but also in the sets leading up to that final set. So you just increase each set weight-wise. And that's progressive resistance in a nutshell. Training frequency and rest periods. Resistance training requires adequate rest between workouts of at least 48 hours. Now, we have come across this already in the course before, but it is worth repeating. This means if you train a muscle on Monday, you wouldn't then train it again until at least Wednesday. If you train a muscle more frequently, again, you would be overtraining the muscle, not giving it enough time to recover and get stronger, and therefore preventing any progress, defeating the purpose, in fact. When training the whole body in one workout, which is phase 1 in our course, you should have a day's rest between the strength workouts. You could still practice yoga or cardio in between and on the other days. After progressing to a routine where we train part of the body one day and then another part of the body the next, and that's more phase 2, this will then allow you to work out on consecutive days without overtraining. Finally, in this little module, breathing while resistance training as well. And I am often asked the question, when do I breathe in, when do I breathe out? And it's a natural question as well. And at first it might seem quite complicated. I assure you, the more you practice, the easier it will become, the more instinctive it will become. And in fact, I was training somebody this very morning, and I was talking about this. Excuse me, I was saying I was doing this module for my course. And I was saying, remember when we first started out, and I was forever saying, breathe out during this part, breathe in, it was getting confusing. And now she says she can't believe it was that easy now. She can't believe that it was that difficult then, rather, and it's now, she doesn't even think about it anymore. It really does become instinctive after a while. Okay, so the first point is never hold the breath. There's never any reason to hold the breath. Holding the breath builds up an enormous amount of pressure in the body. So breathe as smoothly as possible throughout an exercise. Use your breath to help pace an exercise. If you find yourself losing your way, slow down until you can comfortably breathe in for one part of the exercise and out for the other. Breathe out whenever you contract or tighten the working muscle, exert or do the hardest part of the exercise. That's sometimes referred to as the positive phase of a movement. Some examples: squat, breathe out as you stand up. A press up, breathe out as you push up. Row, breathe out as you pull upwards. As an illustration of why you breathe out when exerting, try this. Just place your hands against a wall and try pushing against the wall using your breath two different ways. Try breathing in as you push and then try breathing out as you push. You will find it is an enormous difference in power, plus it's virtually impossible to breathe in at the same time as pushing or exerting any amount of force. I hope all of that is helpful. If you have any questions, you know what to do, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.